I was just essentially locked away 7 days a week, working 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And everyone's like, oh, wow, you've done well. It's like, yeah, well, surprise. You could tell the kid in the show is a future multimillionaire. No one knows how to make the fire. I'm like, give me the things. Oh, but you don't know what you're doing, Tristan. I said, the box says fire on it. So inside this box are things to make a fire. I'm going to work it out. Leave me alone. You're arrogant. Just leave me alone. Half an hour later, there's a roaring fire going.
You're the only person actually being productive and getting shit done in it.
Oh, we got rained on. I'll build a waterproof shelter. Well, you don't know how to build. Just leave me alone. And I built waterproof houses, not just for me, then for everyone. So like you could tell that the kid on the reality show is a future multimillionaire. So it's very cool now being in my position. I don't actually watch it back because, you know, I know everything that happens. I watched them all those years ago, but being sent clips from back then, it's very cool to see, and it's very interesting to see. The mindset was always there. The old saying of, you know, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, that's older than the internet. That saying, it predates the internet, but essentially it means the 5 people who influence you the most. And you know, if you do live alone, or if you don't have many friends, or you don't have a big group of people, what you're watching and what you're listening to influences you massively. So yeah, cut the crap out. Exactly the same with a healthy diet. It influences your health. A healthy mind is exactly the same thing. Scrolling up and down Netflix, watching trash all day is not going to get you anywhere, literally, ever. Whereas, you know, you might hear a piece of advice in a podcast, in this podcast, that, you know, makes you wake up and think, you know what, I actually need to get my shit in order. So yeah, be careful what influences you.
Yeah, anyone can selectively choose how they're spending their time, or even who they're following.
Yes.
So if you want to sort your life out, and you want to be more conscious about who you're following, just unfollow or even mute all the people that just posting crap.
Yeah.
Start following people who are spreading a good message.
I was always a good person to be around. You know, they used to call me the talisman because I was always, you know, I'd bring good luck and prosperity to the people around me. And I think that's exactly the same. Nothing has changed over the years. I think that the people who hang around me, you know, they grow, they learn, they do better in life, they make more money. Certainly a lot of the friendships that I make. My dad dying was the hardest part for me and Andrew to go through ever. But what you have to understand with things like that is you don't actually have a choice. People say this all the time, like, how did you deal with that? It's like, well, what was my alternative? Bring him back to life? There is no way out of it. So you can either, and people say this all the time, oh, my mother's got cancer, she's going to die in 6 months. What do? I say, enjoy the next 6 months with her. As much, like, there are lots of situations in life where your hands are tied. So with dad dying, it was a simple matter of, okay, you can let this destroy you, which is an option, and people do this all the time, drink themselves to death, I don't know, start cutting themselves, whatever stuff people do to cope with difficult situations. Or you can be sad anyway, because you're sad either way, and work 18 hours a day. And in fact, I said that the time I was working the most, when I was around 27, 28, I think he died when I was 27. So you can work 18 hours a day, not let anything distract you, and stay focused on the mission, so that way you have less time to think about it, and you can be sad while you're working. And then, you know, when you start to come to terms with everything, you've got millions of dollars, as opposed to, oh, I've come to terms with everything, but I'm in a rehab clinic. So I think that bad things are going to happen to your life. And everyone watching, this is the sad truth of it. Your parents are going to die too. Before you. I mean, most of you. So that is going to happen. So I didn't really see why it was difficult. As much as it was unpleasant, I don't think it was difficult because there isn't a way out of it. So it's the best way I can describe it. You could be a sad winner or a sad loser. So go and win every day.
What advice would you give to people who are just like chronic procrastinators? That are just not taking action? Yeah,
the advice is very simple. I have the perfect piece of advice for them. It's have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. You're never going to make it. I don't care. Because if you can't look at your Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should get into shape. If you can't look at my Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should make some money. And you literally, with all the inspiration shoved in your face nowadays, I mean, you are sitting in this luxury apartment in Dubai overlooking the ocean. Oh no, I don't even know what day is it. What day is it? What day it is?
Sunday.
On a Sunday afternoon. Like, this is what we do. If you can't watch people like us, if you're watching this podcast and think I need to do something and you're a procrastinator, good. I don't care. Have fun staying broke. Because like you said, I need someone to wash my cars. I need people like you. So not everyone can make it to the top, and there's no help for those people who can't motivate themselves. If you can't pay your bills, it's hard to pay your rent, you're eating the crappiest food, you're driving the crappiest car, all the beautiful women in the world don't look at you, you can't afford any nice clothing, and you're sitting around thinking, oh, well, just a few more hours playing Fortnite, then that's your station in life, and enjoy it. I'm not really one to feel sorry for people that much because of the way that the internet has changed the world. I believe that people have positive role models and examples thrown in their face all the time. I feel like to sit back and say, oh, well, I'm just a video game porn addicted playing guy with no muscles and no physique and no physicality. Oh, well, it's because I haven't got a positive role model. I feel like today isn't an excuse. I feel like that every single second that you're scrolling on your phone or looking at Instagram, etc., there are dudes out there, even so much as selling little coaching calls or courses or, who you'd want to be like. But it's easy. It's easier to sit around and play video games and masturbate than it is to get the money to buy real supercars and seduce beautiful women in the real world. It is much easier. And because it's easier, I feel like a lot of people don't want to weigh out. So I don't need to give them advice. I feel like the advice is out there. If you're watching this and that describes you, good. At least you're listening to people with a healthy mindset who maybe can inspire you a little bit to try to be like that. But the type of person who really needs this advice and isn't going to get it is never going to watch this podcast. They're not going to look at the photo of you there with your shoulders, etc., standing next to me with all my whatever car I'm next to and think, I'm going to listen to these two. So those people aren't watching. So we don't need to worry about them, you know? Just let them, flip our burgers and cook our meals.
You got to understand, if you want that life which you're dreaming of, you have to make some sacrifices.
Of course.
And even when it comes to relationships and women, I've had to make sacrifices. I've had to end relationships. I've had to just go through phases where I didn't even bother at all, just to keep my mind focused on the mission and to avoid the distraction.
It's very hard to become successful. It's very hard to become rich and successful, and that's why very few people do it. It's very hard to become influential, to get people following you, to get people listening to you. It's difficult. So if you can't motivate yourself to do it, fuck you. It's the way I feel.
I'm not really in the mood to train legs. I'm too chilled out.
Exactly. So you have to make life hard for yourself because no one else is going to do it. No one else. I'm certainly not going to come into your room at 7:30 and kick your door down and say, I don't know what your name is, Steven from Los Angeles. It's time to get your life in order. Let's get up. Let's hit the gym. You're not going to, I don't care about you. No one cares about you that much. You should care about yourself that much. I follow the money. I add up the numbers. So I think following the money is the best advice I can give to people. I have so much potential when I put my mind to something, with anything that I want to achieve, that can't be sleeping with new women all the time. Because once I put my mind to that, it takes away the same potential energy that I need to buy myself mansions and supercars.
I'm sure a lot of guys must have heard this before, but if you just focus on yourself, your business, your career, the women will just come eventually.
That is the truest thing in the world. But the sad part is, it's 5 years of work.
Yeah.
At least 5 years of work. And nobody wants to do the work. It's like getting into shape, as I'm sure you know. It's, when guys are, fat and they're like, oh, well, you get women because you're in shape. It's like, well, you could be in shape. But for you, it's 2 years. It's 3 years, Are you willing to do that? The same is with your finances, the same with your mindset, the same with lots of things. So yeah, if you do the work, the women do naturally come to you, but it's years of work and everyone wants a quick fix nowadays. Everyone wants a magic pill or a magic spell or a magic trick, and there are none.